Can we talk a little bit about costume? I mean, not the one I'm wearing now.
How you're dressed affects how you walk, how you stand, how you behave. It's literally your foundation.
And as an actor, it's something that you can kind of work with, you know, so the costume is the key. You know, if you're playing a lawyer and they put a suit on you, suddenly you feel much more lawyerly. You know, you put on scrubs and you all of a sudden want to speak medical jargon. It's just a thing. But there's something about a prison uniform that's restrictive. You know, we all look the same. And so it's like, how do you go about trying to make yourself feel as an individual? Because everything they've done is to strip away your personality and strip away your individualism. And it becomes a bit of a struggle.
It effaces the personality and it dehumanizes those individuals. And so as a prison warden and as an attorney, you're able to hold on to your identity, and which is why it's really exciting watching Aaron change into the suit. The idea of seeing a man in a green jumpsuit, we immediately see him as a criminal. We make aspersions about that person and judge that person, and then you see that somebody in a suit, the same person, and you suddenly give them status. You know, it's still the same person.
When he's in the suit, he's actually free. Just within the walls of that courtroom for that hour or two, he's a human being again, and he feels like he's a person in society.
All rise.
For me, it's everything, because I don't know who my character is until I know how he's dressed.
What I love about what Nicholas is doing is that he's using his physicality to change both him, Aaron, inside the prison and when he becomes a lawyer. If you watch, you'll see his really physicality changes.
Those things are informed from every aspect, including, you know, what he's wearing, how loose or tight his clothes are, what his style is. I have to then see how they all come together and make a decision as to who this person is as a whole. So much so now, you know, I can say, no, he wouldn't wear that tie, but he'd wear that one. The blue one.
And we picked that suit really carefully. We wanted the suit to look good, but be a little bit ill-fitting. And you can see it's a little bit too tight, and it pulls a little bit in the back, and it just sort of doesn't quite fit him. You know, we talked about, oh, he probably lifted weights in prison and got a little bit bigger, so he outgrew it. But we like the idea that it's not a quite comfortable, perfect fit for him, because he's still feeling his way in that world.
There's a wonderful scene about him walking into Maskin's office. He's not afforded the moment to get dressed into a suit, even though it's a cheap suit, because he's just a criminal.
I'd like to get changed first. Is there a men's room?
I was told that won't be necessary. There's no judge.
But he has to, because it's not in the court of law, he has to stay in his prison garb.
Defendants and lawyers are allowed to change is because it would prejudice the jury if he's not wearing a suit, but here it's just a deposition. So, and they know that's going to be humiliating to him.
Mr. Wallace?
It's a great metaphor, you know, for what you take away from an individual to become incarcerated and how he can transform himself back into a lawyer, a man who is treated with respect and has a voice, but then he has to take it off again and go back inside, and it's really painful to see.
Those changes, they're intense because that ritual also includes, you know, full body cavity searches. I mean, if you're going to court every day, you're subject to this every day. It's a profound sense of invasion.
Cough.
When you look at it on screen, it brings at least that portion of it to life, to where the public gets an idea of what you're going through just to get a chance to get before a judge, you know, to argue your cause. And so it's a powerful scene, and it's a powerful moment to watch.
I can't ever thank you enough.
You go live your life, man. Time to get changed.
That dichotomy is the dichotomy of the character, and it also speaks to what he's yearning for and what he doesn't have, and it's also the different roles that he plays. You know, when he's in that suit, he's playing one thing and he's trying to be the man that he hopes to be again someday, and yet he knows everyone knows who he is. They all know he's going back to put that prison suit on. So it's actually quite, you know, touching and moving in a way that, you know, I can't think about a wardrobe change normally sort of evoking a real emotion like that. When we came up with that idea in the room, we just found that to be so poignant.